Welcome into Legion Field. I'm Alex Egan alongside Kevin Rohde, Braden Snyder running the board for us tonight. We are here. Fort Morgan has won the toss. They have elected to defer. And so Jacob Frick will kick it away for the Mustangs. Windsor in their white tops, white pants with a maroon and gold striping on the side and a maroon helmet with black numerals. Frick gets a kickoff that rolls out of bounds at the 35-yard line on the far side. Not a very good kick there by Frick. And we are underway here with the penalty, the kick out of bounds. Opening kickoff brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance, locally in Fort Morgan and Brush, offers home, health, auto, farm, business, and workers' compensation insurance. I'd like to welcome in Kevin Rohde, my color analyst for tonight. Kevin, we saw on paper what Windsor did last week in their loss to Silver Creek, but this is a big team.
Yeah, they've got probably the offensive line, the size that some colleges would like to have other than Larson at guard. He's the small guy at 215.
We'll talk about that offensive line as Sanger goes to work under center. He breaks the tackle as he comes to the near side across the 40, 45, across the 50, into the grasp of another man, and he's into Fort Morgan territory at the 44, 45-yard line. They'll mark him, and that's a big play there. A pickup of 20 yards on the first play from scrimmage, and it's a first down.
Yeah, he faked the run up the middle, went outside, had a nice job juking one of the Fort Morgan defenders. We're going to have to put a stop to that. So we'll mark the ball at the 45-yard line of Fort Morgan territory. 1st and 10 after Sanger gets 20 yards on the opening play from scrimmage. That offensive line, again, we'll talk about them. Sanger turns, hands off to his man in the backfield. He dives forward for about a yard, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. Looks like they're going to just try and run it down Fort Morgan's throat to see whether Fort Morgan's up for the test.
Quickly, the O-line, a 6'4 senior, 200 pounds. That's Kyle Oshner. Joey O'Connor, the kid that's been the buzz for this Windsor team. He is a commit to Penn State. Next year, he's a senior, 6'4", 290. He's playing tackle as Sanger again gets underway. He'll pitch this time to his man coming to the near side across the 40. He eludes a tackle and then gets wrapped up there by Cody Davis for Fort Morgan. We'll call it a pickup of 6.
Nice little run by Hooley, a senior. Fort Morgan hasn't figured out. Of course, they're not really going with any particular pattern yet. One off to the side, one up the middle, then an option play to the left.
And a big third down here early on, 3rd and 4. Rain falling here at Legion Field, but only on the field it looks like. No rain here in the stands in front of us as Sanger will keep the ball himself this time, come to the near sideline, has enough for the first down. There's a flag on the ground, gets to about the 30-yard line of Morgan territory before being brought down by a couple tacklers. A flag down, and we'll see what it's about. As we're waiting on that, more on the O-line for Windsor. Joey O'Connor, as we said, committed to Penn State. As they're probably guilty of a hold here, they are. Move the Wizards back for a long 3rd down try now. But an interesting story here, Trenton Noller. He's a sophomore, 6'4", 320 pounds at center. He is a big kid, and I'm sure if he could commit to a university already, they probably would have him because that's big size there. And, well, we'll throw in another one here. Kyle McCarty, he's a 5'11", 267 senior playing on the line as well. So a big offensive line for this Windsor team. Sanger again will pitch this time to Schmidt, who goes off the right side, falls down, and he won't have enough for the first down, so it'll be a 4th and a couple. Ball will be spotted at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they got a little bit of a miss going on out there, and just enough to make that field just a little slick, and he lost his footing.
We'll see what the Wizards do. They're led by head coach Chris Jones, and last week, as we said, they lost 41-21 to Silver Creek, their first loss of the year. Sanger's got 3 men in the backfield, 1 man spread each way, now brings a man in motion. He will turn and hand it off to his fullback, who goes nowhere, and the Mustangs have held. The ball will be turned over on downs, and Fort Morgan will take over.
What a great stop on that play.
Fort Morgan's defense again answers the call. That was the big difference we saw last week at the the Berthoud game, that the defense came through and kept the offense. Now let's see if the offense comes through and keeps the defense off the field.
So we'll spot the ball at the 38-yard line, we'll call it. It'll be 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan. The rain looks like it's stopped now, so just a brief shower moving through, and Fort Morgan will do a massive shift as Frick comes to the near side with 2 other men, a man to the far side, and Martin's in the shotgun. He'll receive the pass, looking to this near side, throws, and it is off of his intended receiver's hands. Michael Fitzsimmons couldn't quite haul it in, as there was a really good play design that time by Harrison Chisholm for the Mustangs offense on their first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, you had 2 guys spread out wide right, and they immediately went and started blocking downfield, and the back came out of the backfield on a swing pass. Looked like he was going to gain quite a bit of yardage, but just couldn't get a grip on it.
Again, 2nd and 10. We see the heavier set now, and they'll shift again, will Fort Morgan, so we're seeing some new plays here. Flip it this time. 3 men to the far side, 1 man to the near side. That's Frick. Martin's again in center. Alexander flanking him in the backfield. Martin's is going to run the option. He'll toss it to Alexander, who fumbles the football, and I don't know who's got it. It looks like Windsor will be the one to fall on top of it. We'll see what the initial indication is. It is Windsor football, so a fumble as Martins was trying to run the option, and he couldn't quite get it to Alexander. And it'll be 1st and 10. So the defense has a big stand on a 4th down play, and the offense, doing themselves no favors, turns the ball over. It'll be 1st and 10 from deep inside Morgan territory for the Wizards.
Absolutely not what the defense needed after their good stand, but let's see if they can hold Windsor now.
Still scoreless here. 9:15 showing on the clock in the first quarter. Sanger will pitch it to Schmidt, who goes around the far side. He'll dance a little bit as he crosses the 30-yard line. He'll be down at about the 25, and that'll bring up a 2nd and short.
Yeah, just optioning that left defensive end, and he came in to attack Sanger. Sanger made the quick pitch. A nice little run by Schmidt. I think Fort Morgan's going to have to start maybe gambling a little bit on defense to stop this running game of Windsor.
So a pickup of 7 on that play. I'll call it 8, and it's a 2nd and 2. Sanger again will work that option, and he pitches it to his man coming to this near side, and he gets away, and now he'll be tripped up. His man that time, Vince Hooley, trying to gain the edge, but he couldn't quite keep his footing after a Fort Morgan defender got in there and tripped him up a little bit. But it is enough for the 1st down. And we'll spot the ball at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wizards.
Just a nice solid mix-up of different running plays. They say Fort Morgan might need to do a run blitz, stunt, somehow get back there and get Sanger before he pitches.
I think the important thing here is to try and get those O-linemen moving. Sanger will snap the ball, keep it himself this time. He'll come to the near side. He'll be wrapped up by a couple tacklers there. Jose Miranda, of course, involved on that tackle. And that'll bring up just shy of the 1st down, a 2nd down play here for the Wizards.
They seem to just have Fort Morgan outsmarted on each play. Of course, an offensive line the size that they have is going to make it look that way because they're just moving the line of scrimmage down the field.
We're going to have an official's timeout here to see if it will be a 2nd down play. As we see the chain gain coming out to see if this run by Sanger was good enough for the 1st down. I've been looking at the offensive line, and they're just pancaking their man. And it's really a stat that you really don't see too often is pancakes, but this Windsor line so far is doing a good job of making sure that they're staying on top of their man and not allowing penetration through the middle of the line especially.
Yeah, I was watching, I can't remember which professional game last week, and they were talking about how each of the 3 down linemen took up 2 offensive linemen to block them, and that allowed the linebackers to come up and fill, and they were stuffing the running game. Here it's only taking 1 lineman to take each of the Fort Morgan linemen on, and the other linemen are going downfield and blocking the linebackers.
So Sanger's run was just short. It'll be 2nd and inches.
Windsor spreading the ball out. There isn't anyone with more than 2 runs. 5 different people have carried the ball.
Windsor inside the red zone. They're at the 12-yard line on the near hash is where they'll spot the football.
Sanger's got 3 men in the backfield, 1-man spread each way. He sends Schmidt in motion. He'll keep it himself, though, Will Sanger, and he'll be met in the middle of the line. He's got enough for the first down. So it'll be 1st and goal. They'll spot the ball right at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Windsor had some decent passing stats, but obviously not wanting to go to the pass here as long as they can run at will.
I think one of the things that we saw from last week's statistics, there was a lot of passing because they got down early on, and they had to do that to come back. This time Schmidt gets the pitch from Sanger. He dances around a man, and he will dive forward, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. So Windsor takes an early lead on the 10-yard run by Schmidt.
Yeah, he broke a couple tackles there and juked a few guys. Nice run. Fort Morgan's going to have to do a better job of wrapping up on that first contact.
So they need a little over a minute, does Windsor, to move the 33 yards to get into the end zone. Now we'll see Neil Ellens come on and attempt a PAT. His kick is up, and it is true. Windsor leads 7-0. We'll take a break. You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com. Welcome back into Legion Field. Alex Egan, Kevin Rohde alongside. 7:56 showing on the clock here in the first quarter, and Windsor has struck first. 7-0 they lead. As we get set for the kickoff, there was some rain earlier, but it looks like it has moved off. Just kind of a freak shower there right at the start of this game, but it is chilly. Ellens will tee the ball up at the 40-yard line. Step back, check off with all of his mates, and he will kick it away. Nice high end-over-end kick that'll be fielded at the 2-yard line for Fort Morgan. It looks like Cody Davis has it. He does. He cuts up through the middle. He's got a lane to go. He will be brought down from behind, but not before gaining the 31-yard line. So we'll call that a return of about 30 yards. They'll spot the ball at the 32, and Fort Morgan will take over there in their own territory, 1st and 10.
Fort Morgan on his first drive, 2 plays, both from a spread-out offense, almost conceding the inside line of scrimmage to the Windsor defense.
They came out, though, in a formation that we're familiar with seeing, did Fort Morgan, and then they would motion out of that, the shift, before Martins would go under center. Now we'll send Anderson out wide, and now we'll see Frick go out wide. Alexander will join him, and Bohm flanks Martins under center in the backfield. Now Fitzsimmons comes back in motion. Bohm will not get the ball. It'll be fake. The option again, and Fitzsimmons gets it, and he'll be met hard by a tackler there for Windsor. We'll credit Lauren Camerzell on the tackle, and that play goes for negative yards. It'll be a 2nd and 15. Ball at the 26-yard line.
Yeah, I feel for Fitzsimmons on that one. He caught the pitch and was immediately tackled 5 yards deep in the backfield. Windsor had that one pretty well read.
Neither Alexander or Frick missed a tackle there on the assignment and let Camerzell get to Fitzsimmons. Now Martins will go under center. More traditional look this time. Alexander gets it. He'll be met right at the line of scrimmage. Not get many yards if he got any. And it'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Fort Morgan's having trouble on 1st and 2nd down. I'm not sure what their answer for 3rd and 13 or 14 is going to be.
Well, we haven't seen a 3rd down play yet after Fort Morgan fumbled on their opening possession. They run 2 plays. And now we'll see what they're made of here early on. 3rd and 14. 3rd and 14 is what it'll be. Martins has spread the field, 3 men to the far side, 1 man near side, and a man in the backfield. Now we've got a flag before Martins gets the football. Likely to be a false start on Fort Morgan.
If it turns out to be a false start, that's just got to have Chisholm pulling his hair out. Here they already are in the hole, and now we're going to go to 3rd and 19.
The man in the white hat does signal that it is a procedure penalty. And so we'll march back 5 more yards. And it'll be a 3rd and a country mile. 19 yards to go here for the first down. Spot the ball at the 23-yard line. Again, same formation. 3 men to the far side, 1 man to the near side. That's Anderson. Martins drops back after it was under center, and he's going to be swarmed under. Still on his feet, and they'll be taken down for a loss. A sack that time for Windsor. Not sure on who got the sack there for Windsor, but fourth and far. Yes. Fourth and very far. Looks like 25.
Halfway through the first quarter, and Fort Morgan has only gone one direction, backwards on offense and giving up ground for Windsor on defense.
So Zwedzig comes in, gets off a pretty good punt, and it'll be fielded at the 45-yard line, though, of Morgan territory. Now the man cuts back towards the middle. He's got a lane through the middle, gets to about the 30-yard line. On the return, Lance Cox for Windsor.
That was a nice return. Windsor hitting on all 3 cylinders. Defense dominating Fort Morgan, offense dominating Fort Morgan in the special teams. Nice return on that.
Again, a short field here for Windsor with 5:38 showing on the clock. They're already leading 7-0. Sanger turns, hands off to his man in the backfield who dances. I believe that's Porterfield. It was Porterfield. He dances through the line of scrimmage up the middle and picks up a sizable gain there. It'll be 2nd and short.
Yeah, 2nd and 1's a lot easier to manage than 3rd and 15.
So far, Windsor's had really good field position. Their scoring drive started at the 33 of Morgan territory. Now Sanger slips as he tries to gain his footing after faking the handoff inside. Tried to cut back after faking a pitch as well, and he falls down, loses about a yard, and it'll be, oh no, he gained a little bit there, and it'll be 3rd and 1.
Here's a chance for Fort Morgan to hold them, although I imagine that Windsor's considering this 4-down territory the way they've been running the ball.
Well, Fort Morgan already had a big 4th down stand, and then the offense came out on their first possession and fumbled the ball away, so we'll see if Magic can strike twice here for the Fort Morgan defense. Sanger under center, has a man in motion. He'll fake the give through the middle. He'll get caught as he goes through the middle, following the guy he faked to. It looks like he'll probably have enough. He will have enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, they're just running the veer option. That was an inside veer. And the kid dived right off the guard, and then he just followed him up the hole to secure the 1st down.
We'll spot the ball at the 20-yard line. Sanger again under center, 3 men. Now Schmidt will go in motion, come back to this near side. The option will come to this near side. Jose Miranda there. He brings his man down. A big tackle after Porterfield got the pitch and gained about a yard. So a 2nd and 9 coming up from the 19-yard line.
Well, that's a little more manageable for the Fort Morgan defense to have them 2nd and 9. If we can get another stop like that and force 3rd and long, maybe we can keep this from getting to where Fort Morgan's down by 2 scores.
Jose Miranda last week with 5 solo tackles, 11 tackles overall. Probably already quickly approaching that number here in the 1st quarter. Sanger again, as we'll see a flag come down. He faked the handoff, looking to pass that time. The first time that we've seen Windsor looking to pass, but the flag comes down. It might be an illegal shift. A procedure call against Windsor, so that'll back them up 5 yards.
That's going to give Fort Morgan's defense a little more breathing room, but they still have to play good, strong fundamentals.
So it'll be a 2nd and 14. The ball will be spotted at the 23-yard line of Morgan territory. 3:34 showing on the clock. Windsor ahead 7-0 here in the 1st quarter. Two men spread, one each direction. Now man comes in motion for Sanger, is in the backfield. He's looking to pass again. He's looking over the middle. He's got a man open, but it's deflected at the line of scrimmage and knocked down. A good job that time by the defensive line. I think Jorge Beltran getting his hands up there and knocking that ball down. As Sanger did have a man in Schmidt cutting through the middle on a post route.
And Fort Morgan's defense, to their credit, they're answering the rush, but they're going to have to get a little more pressure on Sanger because he had quite a bit of time back there.
Did a good job of rolling out of pressure that time, too. 3rd and 14 now, and Sanger will run the option to this near side. It'll be Porterfeld. The ball comes out. The ball is on the ground, and it is kicked out of bounds by a man trying to slide to get it. The ball will go out of bounds. It will remain Windsor ball, but it'll be 4th and 11. So an unfortunate break that time for Fort Morgan as they had an opportunity to hop on the loose ball, but it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and they got 2 or 3 yards out of it, too.
So 4th and 11, spot the ball at the 31, check that, the 21-yard line, and we'll see a field goal attempt here as Neil Ellens comes in. The spot will be at the 27-yard line. The spot is down, the kick is up, and it is no good. A really high kick, end over end, but it doesn't even have enough distance, and it was well right of the field goal. So Fort Morgan's defense again comes away without any points, and they'll get the ball back here in the first quarter. 3:06 on the clock, down 7-0.
A huge stand for the Fort Morgan defense. Now the offense can go back out there, recollect themselves down only 7 instead of 14. Not having that sense of panic yet. Let's just try and get some positive yardage.
Ellens came into the game 0 for 1 on field goal tries, but very good PATs, 16 of 17 on the season, and he'll go to 0 and 2 on field goal attempts now as we'll see Fort Morgan, the offense, get to work. Martin's under center. He'll turn and fake the pitch, hand it to Miranda, I believe, in at fullback. Yes, it is, and he's chugging his legs hard. Gains about a yard, but that's probably the hardest yard you'll see all year long. The ball came out there at the end, and Windsor had it, but the referee rules that forward progress was stopped, and Fort Morgan will retain the ball.
Windsor seems to be a very opportunistic team. They're looking for fumbles. They're trying to pull the ball out. Fort Morgan's going to have to be careful, but also I like that attacking up the middle. I think that's the first play that we've had where we've gone up the middle against them.
I'll credit him for 2 yards on the carry for Miranda, and it'll be a 2nd and 8 now. We'll see a man in motion. That is Fitzsimmons, who comes to this near side. Martin's looking to throw. He's got his man open, and he underthrows him. That's Fitzsimmons that he was looking for. Underthrows him as he was looking to roll this way, and Fitzsimmons was open in the flat, but Martins can't connect. We'll see a 3rd and 8.
Yeah, a little timing pattern there. Martins threw the ball before the receiver made his break, and they just didn't connect.
Last year when these two teams met, Windsor got the shutout 17-0. That game was played at Windsor. Looking to change the fortunes here tonight. 2 men split, 1 each direction, 2 men in the backfield, 2 tight ends for Martins, who's under center. He'll drop back, looking to pass again. He's got a man open, but he couldn't throw the football. He'll be swarmed under as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Oh, boy, Martins had Fitzsimmons wide open there, but I don't think Fitzsimmons knew that Martins was looking to pass to him, and he was still continuing the route. And now we'll see a 4th and 8 play.
Fort Morgan's got to find some way to keep that defense off the field.
Zwetzig again will come into punt for the 2nd time. He'll barely get this one off as it'll be fielded at the 50. Barely. Oh, it is fumbled. The return is muffed. We'll see what happens here as the officials come in from the sideline. Fort Morgan seems to think they have it, and they do. Fort Morgan football at the 50-yard line, so a big turn of events on a special teams play as the returner for Windsor had to dive forward to try and field that ball. Probably would have been better off just running away from it and letting it bounce.
It's a judgment call that you want to give your punt returner the chance to make that decision, and I'm sure the coach is going to coach him up on the sideline and say that was one that you probably should have let go. What a huge break for the Fort Morgan Mustangs now with the ball at midfield. A little bit of momentum. Let's see if the offense can take advantage of it.
So the muffed punt return puts the ball, like you said, Kevin, at the 50. With 1:27 on the clock, we'll see Miranda get the ball, go through the middle of the line, and be down after picking up a few yards. Just
into Windsor territory, the 46 we'll call it. It'll be a 2nd and 6.
Again, you would think that Fort Morgan would have a hard time running up the middle against that D1 prospect O'Connor, 290-pound nose guard, but maybe that's where our success is going to lie.
We see just the 3-down lineman now. Yeah, just the 3-down lineman for Windsor, and we'll have a flag. Another false start here expected on the Mustangs.
And they had another play going up the middle that looked like it was going to gain some positive yardage.
Oh, excuse me, that penalty, an offsides call against Windsor. So after the 5-yard walk-off, it'll be a 2nd and 1.
You get a little momentum shift on a muff punt like that, and now Windsor's making mistakes, making it a little bit easier for the Fort Morgan offense. And if they continue with this, it's going to be a tight ball game, Alex.
Clock running below 40 seconds here in the first quarter. 2-men spread again. 2 men in the backfield for Martins, who's under center. He'll turn, hand the ball to Miranda, he'll keep it himself. Will Martins get enough? As that was a very good fake. Got me there. Martins keeps the ball himself. He's got enough for the first down as he crosses the 40 to the 38, 37-yard line, we'll call it.
Yeah, I like Fort Morgan going back to what got them here, as they say. You know, that option has really worked well against a lot of different teams this season. They came out with kind of a different look. Let's see if we can catch them off guard and maybe catch them on a quick pass. But now let's get back to basics and get downfield.
Likely to be the last play of the first quarter. Martins under center. Taking his time on the snap count. He'll turn, hand the ball off to Miranda, who will be met in the middle there after gaining a couple of yards. Miranda really running hard. Picks up a couple yards, and it'll bring up a 2nd down. And the clock will expire, so it'll be a 2nd and 7 for the Mustangs as soon as we come back and start the second quarter from the 35-yard line at Windsor territory. 7-0 after 1 quarter of play here at Legion Field in Fort Morgan. You're listening to Mustang Football on B106 and B106.com.